Hey everybody, I hope you're doing really well. I have something I want to share with you real quick. This is something that has kind of been on my heart a lot because I've known a lot of people having babies lately, and so it makes me think about all these times having kids and all the things and the struggles that you go through in that time of being pregnant and having all the children and doing all the things and what moms go through, just the typical mom life and the everyday things. It's so tiring. And I have 6 kids, and now they're kind of getting to that place where they're a little bit bigger, and we have some grown, some in the middle in high school, and then some that are still a little bitty. And so we have this wide range of people, and there's so many different personalities, and it's so crazy around our house. But I started thinking about how much in those moments of when everybody was little, and most, like, you're under 10 years old and you've got a pile of kids, and it's exhausting. If you have one, it's exhausting. So if you're a busy mom or a new mom, then this is for you. This is something that I've learned, and it is so, I wish I had known it earlier than later, and it's something that I didn't learn until baby number 5, and it was like this big, huge aha moment for me. And so I want to just share a little bit with you some of the struggles that I've had and some of the things that I've done. And after you have a baby, I don't care if it's 1 or 50, you have the mom bod once it's all said and done, and it is there, and it's hard to get rid of, and it does not go away easily whatsoever. But when you have the baby, a lot of times, like my first couple, I didn't have any kind of postpartum or anything. I felt good, but I was, I was exhausted, of course, and, you're up feeding in the night and stuff like that, but it was like I could kind of function a little bit. And so, like, people would talk about postpartum, and I never really completely understood it until I had baby number 3. And number 3 was rough. Like, I had some complications. I had things go on. I was exhausted and had other babies at home too. But even that, I was able to get through pretty quickly, and it was not a big deal. When I hit baby number 5 and brought him home from the hospital, I hit a brick wall. Like, it was nothing I had ever experienced before. The postpartum was so real. Like, I had never, ever experienced anything like that before. And I remember thinking, everybody says these things, how bad this is, but I still didn't even think that what they were saying was even as bad as what I felt like I was going through at the time. And I felt like it was at the time, I felt like I was the only one in the world having that problem and going through what I was going through at the time. And I know most moms feel that way. I think every mom at some point feels that struggle and feels that feeling of nobody else is in this place. Nobody else is feeling fat and ugly. Nobody else is feeling this depression. Nobody else is feeling this exhaustion, because everybody puts on a pretty face, and everybody tries to make yourself look good enough to go out into the world, because you feel like everybody needs you to look beautiful, and you feel like everybody's expecting you to look the part of this new mom, and you're supposed to be glowy and pretty and all the things, and you're not supposed to be tired. And where in the world we get that idea, I don't know. I wish somebody, and I'm sure people did. That's the bad thing. I'm sure people probably said, you're exhausted. You need to go sleep. I know my mom, go rest. It's fine. You need to sleep, or bring me the kids and let me watch everybody and let you take a nap. But for some crazy reason, we feel like we've got to say, oh, no, I'm fine. The world is good. Everything's okay. And we try to just make everything fine, when really inside we're dying and we are miserable. I don't understand why we can't just say, I'm really not okay. I am really struggling right now, because there's so much in my brain and there's so much going on, and I do not feel good. I'm exhausted and I need help. And so, like, if you are a struggling mom and you're new at this, whether you've had 1 or 50, I don't care. Remember to take care of you. Take care of you, and just take a minute and realize that you are okay to not be okay. Like, it's okay to say, I'm exhausted. I need a break. I felt like my husband had worked all day long. So the last thing he needed to do was come home and have to, like, tend to people. He wouldn't care. He didn't care. He wanted to be with the kids, and he loved being with the kids. But I felt like I needed to be the one to do all the things. I needed to be the supper fixer. I needed to be the taking care of people. I needed to fix the things and do the stuff. And, you know, let other people help you sometimes. It's okay. It is going to be fine to let somebody else take up a little bit of slack. That's just tip number 1. I know that's hard to do sometimes. But I realized as I started feeling this way, and I was sick constantly, and I was always like with him, for some reason, like, I was at the doctor's office constantly. There was always something going on with my body, something happening, like, and I didn't really understand why. I didn't understand why I was sick all the time, and I was just, but I was not taking care of me. And that's when I just really totally hit rock bottom, was when I realized that I was not taking care of me. I was sitting on the couch, like, my feet hurt so bad, and I had gained so much weight with him that I was just miserable. And then my feet were hurting, and I was just, like, I always felt nauseated. I always felt sick. And so I never really understood what was going on for a really long time. And I just sat and cried because everything hurt. Everything felt awful, and I could not bring myself out of that point. And I sit there and cried one day thinking, my husband, like, how in the world can he think there's anything nice about any of this? Like, I look horrible. I have not bathed in days at all. And I've got these children that are running around, like, half dressed and not wearing shoes. And they probably had not bathed in days. Like, it was so horrible. And I thought, how can he even remotely want to come home to this every day? How does he not just run the other way, screaming and crying every day? But he would come in every day. Every day he would walk in the door, and he would give me a kiss and give me a hug and ask me how my day was and tell me how beautiful I was, and just act like I was the only human being on the earth at that time, and talk about, you know, like, what a great mom I was, what a wonderful wife I was. And I'm like, where have you been? Like, do you not look at any of this? Like, you must be totally blinded, because this is not pretty. And so, like, then that made me feel worse, because I thought, oh my goodness, how can he possibly even let those words come out of his mouth? Because if it were me looking at him, I'd be like, oh, please go bathe. You know, like, please go put on some clothes and look like a human being for once. Please do something to yourself. But he never did. Like, he always just came in encouraging and loving on me no matter what. But it was this internal struggle that I had, that even when he would say those words, I'd think, he is so lying. There's no way he could ever think that this looks pretty. I am so ugly. I am so nasty. I mean, like, I was just down on me so bad that I couldn't even allow his words to penetrate and be that encouragement that he was meaning it to be. And so I would put on this happy face, and I would smile, and I'd say, oh, thank you, you know, and act like everything's fine. And when inside, I'm like, there's nothing good at all about me, period, at all. And so I would just continually just berate myself all the time because of this internal struggle. And that became kind of a low point. And it finally hit me one day. I went to the doctor because, yet again, I was sick and I felt like poo-poo. And so I went to the doctor again. And at this point, the doctor's like, okay, you have got all these things wrong with you. Like, you are just going downhill really fast, and you need to have on this, and you need to take this, and you need to take this. It's like, he starts handing me these prescriptions, and I'm like, oh, great. I don't want those prescriptions. I don't really know what to do about that. That just made me feel worse. But at that moment, it also became my saving grace at the same time. Because then I realized I don't want to be in this place. I don't want to continue feeling this way. And I don't want to continue being this person that I am. I want my husband to be somebody that I can really feel like when he's saying you're beautiful and you're a great mom. I want to really believe that he's saying it and it's really, really true. Like for me, not necessarily like he may have thought that it was the greatest thing ever. I don't know. But at either way, he thought that he was being encouraging and he was trying his hardest to be encouraging to me. And I wanted him to feel, for me to feel like he was really saying those things. And I was believing it as well. So at that moment was this huge change that came about in my heart that was like, okay, I've got to change for myself. I've got to change for my kids. And I've got to do something that is going to save me from this way that I'm feeling. And so at that moment, I decided I had a choice. I had a choice to make whether I was going to continue like feeling this way, being down, being depressed, acting all the time, or was I going to make a change and be the person I really wanted to be. Being, feeling healthy, having energy, feeling like a human being again. Like I didn't even feel like a human at all. I just felt like I was going through these motions all the time and it was miserable. And so I went home. I actually went to the bookstore and bought a book on weight loss. And I thought, okay, I'm going to read this. I'm going to do all the things. Everything it says to do, I'm going to do it no matter what. And I did. I did it step by step, all the things. I killed myself. I homeschool, and so like all these hours that should be spent on doing school and doing these things are important, then my mind is going to, oh, I've got to count this carb and that carb, and I've got to count this thing and that thing, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And so like my brain was getting wrapped up in so many other things that it was not, I still was not able to have this freedom that I really wanted. So now I'm tied to this particular schedule of this eating pattern and eating these certain things, and I was like practically eating nothing, and it was just miserable. So I went from this feeling bondage of my world because I was trapped in this depressed body. So I wanted to pull myself out of that. And so I went into this whole other extreme of let me control every single thing about my day and my world and my eating and everything. So then that became this whole new bondage. And so I never really felt like I had this balance anywhere. It was terrible. And finally, I realized, okay, this is way too much. And I started really researching. And I wanted to find out like what it was. I went back and started reading the book again because I'm like, okay, there has to be some simplicity to this book that I'm making it overly complicated. There has to be something simple about it. So I go back and I start reading the book. Well, there was a section in the book I had not read at that point. So I went to that place and I started reading, and it didn't change how I was, like the book still was complicated. There was still a lot of complication to all of the nuts of it. But through the book, through this one section, it started talking about how, we have to heal, allow our bodies to heal. And if we're not doing certain things and eating certain ways, then our body can't heal. And that threw me into a whole new world of looking into how to take care of my body, like really, truly. So it became this passion that just burned in me to figure out like what is the root of why I'm overweight. What has been my overweight problem all these years? Is it just simply the fact that we're going to control every food that we put into our mouth, or is there something more to this that meets the eye? And that's when I started researching everything. I researched, took classes, all kinds of things about healing our gut and all the body systems and what our body systems do and how to take care of our body and what to do with it and what to feed it and and what is going to keep your body feeling the very best that it can and lose weight and feel the best. So I started doing these things that I had discovered while at the same time changing how I was talking to myself about myself, because I realized that I was this body that God had given me. God gave me this body that He had made perfectly for me, and I was not taking care of it, but I also was not taking care of my mind. And He says to look at things and think on things that are lovely and true and pure. And I was not having those thoughts. He even means for us to have those thoughts about ourselves, not just simply over all the things around us, but ourselves included, because He made us perfectly in His image. And so if I'm sitting here being all whiny and gripey about how I look, I'm the one that has the choice about that. I've chosen to allow my body to do the things it's done and allow my body to get to the place it's at. So I had a choice to fix that, and I was ready to change, and I had to make that choice and that change. And so I began to make huge mindset changes and shifts, and had to bring in a whole new self-image of myself. Things that I had believed maybe about myself at one point, I had to get rid of. Things that I thought that someone else may have thought about me, I had to get rid of. All of these things I had to just finally just push away and get rid of, and allow my mind to heal as well as my body to heal. When I started making these huge shifts like that, it really made a difference in my weight, in my body, in my life, in every aspect of my world. And it became this balance that was beautiful. And it changed everything about me and how I felt about my family, how I felt about the kids. I mean, like, when you're in that place of feeling so so lost and depressed, nothing else around you matters. You're the only one that matters. But when you can step outside of that box and be able to see the things that are out there, and you be able to like see your kids again, you can see your husband again, and you realize that when he's saying how beautiful you are, you can go, I am beautiful. I am. Like, I do feel really good. I do have the energy that I need. I do have the desire to take care of the kids and actually give them a bath today. I actually feel like taking a bath myself today. Like, all these things begin to shift, and it was small shifts that made big impacts in my health and in my life all the way around. And it became so amazing to see how much of my world changed all at one time. So in the past like 10 years that I have gone through this journey in this world, and learning the things that I have learned about my body and my mind and how our bodies work, then I have created Elevate. It is Elevate Your Health for you, taking care of you and your body, and personal coaching that will help you to be able to kind of step outside of yourself and be able to see what you need to do to take care of your body. Being able to, it's definitely not a one size fits all for anyone at all. It is a very much like we create a plan specifically for you, and we get to the root cause of what your issue is. So if it's losing weight, we can get to the root cause of why your weight is the problem. If it's not, like say you're just a normal weight, but you've got some other health issues going on, you have aches and pains and things like that, we can get to that root cause and find the issue that is causing those problems, and then we can be able to move you forward into the next steps and be able to create a plan specifically for your body to help you create the world that you want and the way you want to feel and the energy that you need and the vitality you need, and to be able to take care of your family the way you want to be able to feel the very best while you're taking care of all of the things. Once I finally got to this place, I felt better, in my 40s, 30s, and 40s than I ever did really pretty much my entire life. Like, I had spent so much time my entire life feeling like so blah and not having energy and just feeling very lethargic and just not necessarily depressed, but just tired and just, do I really have to go let the dog out, or do I really have to let the animals do whatever? Do I have to feed somebody? Like, it seemed like things were always so hard to do the things. And when I finally got to this place and discovered what was really making me the way I was and creating the problem that was in my body, then I was able to wake up this whole new part of me that was amazing, that feels good to do the things. It feels good to go to school or do school with the kids. It feels good to do the take care of my people and to do the activities that we need to do. I would say that it's great to cook, but we're busy, and so I don't cook a whole lot. I try, but I'm not the best at it. But I do feel like taking care of them. At one point, I didn't even feel like going to do an activity at all, because like that required me to get up and put clothes on and possibly bathe and to go do the things. And now I feel like, oh, I want to go do the things. Let's take them to do the whatever activity thing it is, and it's amazing. So if you're at that place and you feel like you just cannot go anymore, then let me help you. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer any questions you have and to help walk you through this journey that can be so amazing. Life can be so much fun if we will take the time to let ourselves take care of ourselves. And that's all we need to do, is to let ourselves take care of us and realize that we are important. And if we're not taking care of us, nobody else is. And kids can't take care of us, but we've got to be there for the kids. So let me know if you need any help, and I am more than happy to help you as you walk through this together.